Run the plate?
Zane asked Stevie.
Not yet. I checked to see if anything could be done first.
She looked away.
I confirmed there wasn't a pulse on either of them. As you'll see, there was no hope. They were already cold. And Zane? She paused. The driver is missing a weapon from his shoulder holster. I didn't check the passenger.
Zane scowled and nodded.
Run the plate while I take a look.
Stevie slipped into her cruiser and tapped some keys. She blinked at the results. The SUV was a federal government vehicle.
Oh no.
Could it be? She jogged back to the SUV, brushing the rain out of her eyes, and saw Zane take something from one of the bodies. He straightened, a wallet in his hand.
Zane! The SUV belongs to the government.
Zane glanced back at Walter, who'd stepped away a respectful distance, his back to the officers, pretending to take interest in the river's rising water, but not quite out of hearing distance. Zane flipped open the wallet and held it up for her to see the ID and badge.
FBI agents. They must be the ones who were taking Liam Pierce home,
he said in a hushed voice.
The child that was staying with my mother? Yes.
The word was clipped.
The one who was found chained in a basement with 2 dead bodies upstairs.
Stevie was stunned. Last night, 2 men had attacked her family at her mother's home, trying to get 6-year-old Liam. One shooter had ended up dead at the hands of her brother-in-law, Seth, and the other was sitting in the county jail. The young boy had been picked up this morning by his uncle Marcus and the 2 FBI agents who'd spent the last 3 months searching for the child.
Where are Liam and his uncle?
Stevie spun in a circle, wondering if she'd missed a sign of them. Both shoulders of the road were pure mud from the days of rain, but there were no footprints. With the amount of water that had fallen every hour, she knew any evidence would have been washed away.
Who would shoot the agents and take the child? And the uncle? Or Liam and Marcus ran, added Zane. I know it's wet, but they could have been out of the vehicle before the shooter killed the agents. Could Marcus have been the shooter? I can't see it,
said Zane.
Seth said the uncle was sick over the missing boy and relieved to find out he was still alive. We need to start a search for Liam and his uncle, ordered Zane. Call county. Shit!
There would be no access to Solitude for the search and rescue team from the county sheriff's department right now. Solitude was essentially an island surrounded by the river and floodwaters. No one could get in or out.
They can't process the scene or take the bodies to the morgue either, Stevie pointed out. We'll have to handle it on our own.
How are we going to move them? She'd never appreciated the medical examiner's crew as much as she did at this exact moment. Tiny Solitude didn't have the experts to handle the murder of federal agents. They relied on the county or state police. Zane blanched.
I think we should process the scene the best we can, document everything, and then tow and store the vehicle with the bodies inside. We can make room for them in the storage unit until we get the proper help. No! We've got no choice.
His face was stone.
These are murdered federal agents.
It felt like desecration to Stevie. But Zane was right. As much as she wanted to remove and respect the bodies, they had nowhere to store them, and they needed to keep the scene as intact as possible until expert help could arrive.
I'll call for a tow and get Kenny and Carter out here. Our first priority is to search for Liam and his uncle. They could be injured.
Walter cleared his throat, and both officers turned toward him.
I often join the county SAR team with whiskey.
Stevie pictured Walter with a 5th of whiskey in his hand, tramping through the forest.
Oh, your dog whiskey.
Walter gave a small bow.
Whiskey and I are the best trackers in the southern half of the state. Rain or snow. We're your team.
She glanced at Zane, who asked,
How soon can you be ready? I can be back in 15 minutes. Sounds like we've got no time to lose with the child missing.
He darted to his beat-up pickup with a fresh perk in his step.
What if they caught a ride with someone?